Whoa, what the fuck? Yo, Max, look at this. Someone actually did this and uploaded it to YouTube.
They're getting banned.
They're getting banned.
I don't think that's allowed.
Damn, Susan gonna put the hammer down on that bitch.
If we're getting yellow $ for the shit we're uploading, that is getting fucking full termination. There's no way that's staying up.
We should get out of here before someone
I don't
catches
want to
it.
even get near that.
Let's get out of here.
Welcome to Warframe, where the game designer himself, Pablo.
Oh shit, can't stop that, Pablo! Get that fucking car out of here!
My voice changes when I get in the chair. See? I'm back to here, and then I sit back in the chair. I turn into Pablo.
You turn into Pablo?
Ooh. Oh, thank God. Now we got the base Pablo. And the person who has the balls to have his honest thought on raids in general.
Why not? Why not?
Because raids are AIDS.
Yeah. Top heavy like a Brinks truck, looking like I'm tip top, shiny like a wristwatch.
Holy shit! Holy shit, Pablo! What the fuck is wrong with you?
Protea was released in the Deadlock Protocol update, or Update 28 in 2020. And unlike most Warframes in the game, where either the set Warframes was great at first, but then over time, they become so niche to the point where they're only good for certain mission types, or it's just not fun in general to use. Where they would need some kind of touch-up or a full-on rework just to make the set frame fit in the current version of Warframe. Or you get set frames in the game where they are basically overpowered to the point where they get nerfed the fuck out. Well, not to the point where they become unplayable, just enough to feel like they have been slapped so hard you can tell the effectiveness has been nerfed significantly. And then you have frames like Protea, who is just too good of a frame, and I'm pretty sure Protea hasn't received any kind of major nerf within her kit, which says a lot about Protea. Protea Prime was released during the Whisper in the Wall update, or Update 35.5.9. Jesus Christ, another mouthful of this crap. And came with the Velix Prime and the Arcana Prime. I'm pretty sure I butchered that, but we're gonna let that slide. And after being in the game for over 6 years, that's the base frame, the base version of Protea, that is. Well, let's just say that for some reason, Protea is the well-kept secret Warframe within the community. Like, I wish I was joking, but either Protea is just so good as a frame that she's able to adapt to whatever there is to a sudden change within Warframe, or it's just good fucking design that DE should take note from. So I want to quickly mention about Protea's passive, and not because I forgot to mention Zephyr's passive in that video. So yeah, but anyways, basically in short, every fourth ability that gets casted will receive 100% increased strength, which that goes for all of Protea's ability and subsume abilities. Yes, let me say that again. That goes for all subsume abilities in the entire fucking game, which is fucking nuts. But yeah, with that out of the way, how about we start with the first ability? Grenade Fan has two different parts to this ability, so to keep it short, we'll start with Sharpener Vortex. By tapping the ability, the player sends out 3 Sharpener Vortex, which creates an AoE effect and does slash damage to enemies that are within the area. Or if the said enemies walk towards the grenade, which can cause the enemies to get staggered in the process. But holding down the ability, the player will send out 4 shield satellites, which both the player and allies are given a shield boost and will also apply to companions when picked up. And if the player's shield were to break while having shield satellites, then the player is granted 2 times of shield gate invincibility frame, duration. Basically meaning if the player is granted 2 seconds of iframe when the shield breaks, then it will still give the player 4 seconds of iframe instead, which is why I think this is Protea's best ability within her kit. So unfortunately, this is going to be a bit complex because there's quite a bit to go through, but I digress. When casting Blaze Artillery, it will target any enemies on line of sight and has a range of being 30 meters at base and having a 130 degrees firing cone, while busting out 3 fire plasma like per second, and has infinite punch through and guaranteed to proc fire, no matter what. But while it only lasts 3 seconds, the shot will increase the damage while it's active and it doesn't have a damage cap while it's active. But the kicker is while it can only stay up for 3 seconds, the player can only spawn 3 artillery at a time, and if the player was to recast the ability while 3 is active at once, then the last active artillery will be removed and relocated based on the player's reticle. Oh, and that both the damage multiplier and the duration for the abilities are visually shown at the back of the artillery.
God damn, bitch! You live like this? What the fuck? Who gave you that? Oh man, I like this house. Let's go into the other room. Okay. I don't like this room at all. Is that appropriate? What the fuck? I don't like that at all. Okay, I'm going to the bathroom now. I'm getting bad vibes from this room. I didn't know this is a shared bathroom. Damn, you take your pants all the way off to piss? Yeah, don't you? Oh. Damn, nice cock. Thanks.
Now for the Engineer's Dispenser, which gives all allies and players itself the ability to heal, replenish ammo, and restock on scrap for all engineers in the team. Oh, son of a... Now we come to Protea's best utility ability within her kit, Dispensary. And basically in short, when casting the ability, Protea will spawn a supply cache in which it will bring out Empowered Health Orb, Energy Orb, and a Universal Ammo Pack, which this goes for arc guns too, which is great. But the main feature is that Dispensary will cycle through all 3 with a 2-second delay cycle, and that the player can spawn only 1 at a time, but keeping it up all times helps Protea and allies nearby, meaning they're able to use the abilities more, and they're able to use the weapons more with the universal ammo. So I just want to briefly mention on when Repaired Dispensary was first brought into the game. So before the rework for the companions in the Abyss of Dagarth update, or Update 34, the Augment mod would only revive robotic companions, that being all Sentinel and Moros, and having a 4-minute cooldown when used. But other the changes to all companions, where they don't get fully down during missions or in general, the current version of Repaired Dispensary now creates a special health pickup, which sets the companion's incapacitation timer by 12 seconds, which doesn't stack with other mods or way to lower down the capitation time. And because of adding a new pickup, it also adds another 2 seconds to all pickups. And after going through all that, is it worth using? No. Well, not to say it's a bad mod, it's more so that we have mods that can lower it way faster or flat out instantly revive the down companion. So like, again, I guess only benefits that you don't have certain bond mods with your companions that it's either lower than incredibly fast or instantly does. So I guess there's that. Now we come to the most fitting ability within Protea's kit, Temporal Anchor, and the very much so, it's okay ability within her kit. Now to explain how this ability works, in a way, this will only make sense for those who played Ratchet and Clank A Crack in Time, and for those who did actually play Ratchet and Clank in a small tent, remember the Clank parts where you had the time recorder puzzle section within the game? It's basically that. And for those who didn't actually play Ratchet and Clank, it's not about time. Well, shit. Well, time to make this not make any sense, but here goes nothing. Protea dropped an anchor point, and before it activates the ability, it records how much health, shield, ammo, and energy the player had prior to placing an anchor, or just using the ability. Just after placing the anchor point, it records what the player does during the set duration, that being moving, bullet jumping, shooting, meleeing, or using abilities that does damage, basically just doing anything in general are recorded. All damage done during the recorded phase will be stored for a temporal explosion, which can be triggered when the duration ends, or ending the ability earlier, but taking fatal damage will cancel the temporal explosion from triggering. But if the player were to wait for the duration to end, or stop the ability earlier, then what was recorded before starting the ability will receive the total health, shield, ammo for all weapons, and energy they had prior brought back to the player. But taking fatal damage would lose the benefit of getting back what was used or gained during the recorded phase. But the anchor point acts like a safeguard point for when the player takes fatal damage, but the player will be knocked down when rewind back to the anchor point. So while Temporal Erosion sounds great, the problem with this mod is that both Grenade Fan and Blaze Artillery can only strip enemy armor while Temporal Anchor is active. So meaning you have to keep casting Temporal Anchor and meaning that the player will be rewinded so many times to the point where it's not worth using. Like if you want to armor strip with Protea, then you could just use something like Terrify or Pillage to do the job instead. And I mean, at least with Pillage, you get shield back, so there's a plus with that. So you can stack it with shield satellites. Now, this isn't technically a Temporal Anchor augment, it's actually a Blaze Artillery augment, but just like Temporal Erosion, it only works when Temporal Anchor is active. So I'm classifying Temporal Artillery as the second augment for Temporal Anchor. But I digress. Temporal Artillery just makes it where when Temporal Anchor is active, a free Blaze Artillery is spawned and hovers around Protea. But the main kicker is that while it stays nearby the player, it now has a multiply damage cap by 20 times. But it stays up as long as Temporal Anchor is still active, so having longer duration helps a little bit more. But in saying that, I would kind of recommend using this augment instead of Temporal Erosion, but that's in my opinion. But I guess it's more like, if you're gonna armor strip, like I said, you might use like Terrify or Pillage to do the job. But like, I guess if you really enjoy using Temporal Anchor, then I think maybe this would be the better option. Again, it's up to preference, you know? It's just, I think that Temporal Artillery is slightly better than Erosion. Alright, so starting with the art contrast as always before the build is I've got one blue shard. Now again, this is just preference. I only have this because I've got so many blue shards, and like D is gonna figure out either way to make it better or just increase the amount you get from it, because like blue shard's still not worth it, honestly. Blue shard is still by far the worst shards, and I think orange is like the second to worst. Then we got 3 red strength, red shards I meant. So again, this is preference. You can go for durations if you want, but this is what I'm going for. And then obviously casting speed, as always. So here's the build. Now I need to put out some things. So starting with the Archon Vitality mod. So only reason I'm using this is because of the heat damage that applies. Meaning, like, you know, if ability applies here, it will reapply it twice. Hence why with the artillery, with Blaze Artillery, is what significantly increases its damage overall. Another thing is about overextend. Reason I'm going to be using this is because of Grenade Fan. Both for like the area AoE for the Shard of Vortex, and also for Shield Satellite, as in the sense that the pickup range is a lot bigger than just like, you know, having to get somewhat close to it. So it also helps when playing with on a full squad, you know. It's just the big area, meaning that they can just walk past it, and then like they get the shield buff applied to them and their companions. Another thing is I'm using Hunting Adrenaline as well as the Equilibrium. Now technically, Equilibrium is better for Dispensary because again, like you get health pickup, it gives you energy, you get energy, it gives you health back, which it does help, and I think probably would be better. But I'm just using Hunting Adrenaline because it's just really easy. And since that, you know, as long as you're taking damage, you get your energy back. Sorry, I think it's just preference. If you know, if you want to be more efficient, use the William. Otherwise, Untitled is just the way I prefer going. Another thing is when it comes to strength in total. Now, from what I've been playing with Protea, you technically don't need as much. The reason you might want to have more strength is because of a grenade fan, specifically shot with vortex and maybe shoot satellites. More since that you can increase the damage to sharpener and increase how much shield you get back, and it even generates. There's that, but like again, especially with artillery, like you don't to understand that, like if you're playing like Steel Path, like there's a lot of enemies, or I guess like betting on your PC too. With artillery cannon, you can get ridiculous amount of like damage towards a player, like, and it will just do the job. Like you don't need that much strength overall, but yeah. But to offset the lower strength, I'm using growing power, which is basically just any side effect that comes with the weapons. You and the squad that you win will get a 25% extra strength for 6 seconds. And then I'm using more augment, which is just 360 strength, and then I'm using Arcane Blessing. Now, Arcane Blessing is just preference. You can use whatever you want. You could even use Arcane. Well, actually, no, you couldn't. No, I mean, you could, but actually, no, yeah, you could use Energize if you don't have Equilibrium or Hunter Adrenaline, one of those two. But, yeah, you could use anything you want. It doesn't really matter. But, yeah, so that's that. Now, in terms of abilities, like I said, with Temporal Anchor, like, it's like, again, Temporal Anchor is not, like, the best. I think they just need some quality of life changes to make it better and, like, less annoying. So instead, I've just gone with Energized Munition, which is just meaning that it just lowers how much how much ammo I use on the weapon. Now, again, weapons with like a higher ammo count will use less than like something that has like less ammo. Well, yeah, because like again, something like the Cooper Bomber. Well, you can get extra shot from that. It still doesn't help because like again, they've capped the fuck out of that ammo count they get after I think what 3-4 years. But yeah, but if you're gonna use Temporal Anchor, but pretty much the same, but the difference is that we're not having Hunter Adrenaline. It's just Temporal Artillery. Again, if you want to really use that, you can swap with Augmented, but again, I just prefer having a little bit extra duration. Now, I think I should clarify on my opinion on Erosion and Artillery. Now, like I said, you can use Erosion if you want. My problem with it is that, again, you have to keep using Temporal Anchor, but the way it's designed gets really fucking tedious and annoying. The fact that, you know, you do it, and then, what's the word? Like, you cast the ability, and then that's a set duration. In this case, it's like under 15 seconds. Basically, you do all that. Now, either let it play it through, or, like, you cancel it earlier. But the problem is that you're rewriting over and over and over and over again to the point where it's just like it's not worth fucking using. They just need to change it on like how it works, right? Because like my idea is this. My idea is that maybe it has to like a set cap of like a minute, like a whole minute, right? And it just like maybe for like the first 20 seconds you get like the whole rewind effect. But I think anything after past that, it's just plainly it would just be more like you just teleport to where you placed it kind of thing. I don't know, like it just needs to be where it's not as annoying just to have to cast the ability and then rewind again and all that, like just to use Erosion. Now I mean the problem with that is that then that has become too strong with Erosion, which is probably a point that DE might not do. I don't know, it's just something needs to be improved in this ability. Like the idea is there, the execution is like it's a hit and miss. I don't know. I just think for me, like, I think just for itself, it's like it's all right. You know, it does the job of what it needs to do. You know, it's like your main utility kit, not like a I can't think of a word. It's just like I mean, I can't. Jesus Christ! To keep it short, I think it on itself, I think it's alright. It's just not the best. But I think, in terms of using the augments, I still think that using artillery is slightly better, just with the sense that when you're using it, you can just cast a artillery on the go, and it stays with you. I get obviously the only problem with that is that it has a cap of 20 times multiplayer, which is, I mean, it sounds bad because it kind of does, but like again, you just have something that just apply heat and like, you know, you better stack that up on, you know, whatever, you know. But again, I don't know, like again, it's just like again, erosion can work, and like I tried it with the sim where it just completely shredded like their entire armor. I mean, that's probably because you're stacking with Vortex and Artillery, and if you're using Archon Vitality, it actually helps significantly. But again, like I said, the problem is that you're constantly rewinding over and over and over and again, and it just gets really fucking annoying. So again, like I said, if you want to able to armor strip any enemies, just use like Terrify or just Pillage. Probably Pillage in the sense that, you know, you also get your shield back. Terrify is good, but again, the problem is more like people might find that, you know, oh, like, you know, they obviously get like the fear status, so then they start running around and whatever. But I think that it's just like, again, it's better than using erosion and having to again go over and over and over again, doing the same shit over. But that's the build. Yeah, that's my opinion. Overall, Protea's pretty good. Honestly, one of the top best frames in the game. And I pretty much think that isn't just like, she can do the damage, but not in the sense of like, I don't know, like Mesa, Saren, Tavia, or even like or even like the recent ones we had, like Uriel, Templar, or Temple. Who else? Oraxia. You know, frames like that can nuke, but like in its own way, you know. But yeah, no, Protea's just one of the good frames, like in terms of like having like utilities and then like having its main damage type. I mean, I know Vortex does, but that's more like I see Vortex more like a way to like stagger enemies on site, so you can sort of crowd control the room. So there's that. Now, before we get to how to get Protea, or base Protea, that is, I quickly need to mention about the Zoras. Now, you get the Zoras after completing the Deadlock Protocol, and spoilers for that, but if you pay attention to how you get to the that place, I can't remember what it's called, like that sort of like prison void thing where Pablo's ground is, you may notice that and also where you fight Protea. That's where you get Protea specifically. But in saying that, to do the thing and hopefully you get like the drop chance of actually getting Protea's part, you're gonna need the Zoras, and this is the bit I got. Now, one thing is this: you absolutely do not need a Wither mod for this. Again, I just have it because it just benefits me a lot. I just missed an attack finish seat. I mean, it's not attack damage, so it's good. But anyways, yeah, you don't need this. You absolutely do not need a Wither mod, and if you don't, you can just put in whatever you want. Like if you have, but you know, if you replace it, actually, you could use like Berserker if you want like faster speed time, which could help. So there's that. Just put that there, and then yeah. In terms of arcanes, you could just whatever. I mean, if you want, you could just do like what everyone's doing now, just using arcane influence. So there's that, if you're not using electricity, but it's preference, you know. I do a Void Cascade build, but that's based on Amulistics thing, which helped a lot. But yeah, this is what we can use, and I'll go find a thing, and I'll show how to get Protea. This is like the 5th time I'm recording this shit, god damn it. I'm so bad at explaining things like this. This is why scripting is much better, in a way, that way I can actually understand what I'm doing, but here I am. Anyway, we'll do this live again for the 5th time. So, the way you get Protea stuff is you need to find yourself a corpus ship tile set or just mission. Usually I prefer catcher, just a lot quicker. So, god damn it. So the way this works is this. you need coins, and you get these coins from the spatial tire sets. You get like these special units that they're carrying out with a coin. He's gonna wait like maybe like I think like 3 to 5 minutes per mission when they spawn. Again, they are based on levels, so like because there's 3 tiers, and I'm not sure what the exact levels are. I'm sure it's like a 1 to 10, 10 to 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30 for like each of the tiers. I could be wrong, but that's how I see it. But anyway, so once you have one of the coins, you need to find yourself one of the golden hands of Pablo's ground, and then you'll be teleported to the same place that you fought Protea during the Deadlock Protocol update. Oh, the Deadlock Protocol quest, son of a bitch. Anyways, when you go there, hopefully you have your Zorus, and then all you're gonna be doing is be doing like heavy attack, like the throw and then the explosion. That's all you're doing, because you're gonna take out these spectrums, and that's the thing you're gonna be killing. Now, there's a set time limit, but it can be increased with some pickups, like these pickups that you can grab from like called spectrum, or like freeing the enemy Solava's citizens, or like survivors. No, I think they're more civilians, but whatever. But yeah, the thing to note is based on the tier coins that you put in is based on how many kills you need to get and what drops you get from them. So tier 1s, I think it's about like 25 kills, and that you get the new optic for Protea. The tier 2s is about 50 kills, you get the chassis, and then tier 3 is 75 kills, and you get the system. Now, for some reason, apparently there's a full-on like rotation, and it's like rotation C you get from all 3 parts from each of the tiers. And from that judgment or information, it's gonna take some time to actually get the parts. So the grind is gonna be real. Oh, and another thing is the more squads you have, the kill amount is increased by like I think like 10-15 kills per each. So if you're trying to do the tier 3 one, you're gonna be there a bit longer, because again, more players means you gotta kill more spectrums. So it's not fun. But yeah, I mean, well, I guess it won't matter. I might as well mention about the sisters, sisters of Pablo's ground. The mission I'm in, the capture in Pluto, this is the best place I usually do this for. You know, obviously you gotta do, well, actually, you know, I believe it just doesn't matter what tier. I just usually do tier 3 because I just think that it just guarantees it. Oh, but it is like the required way. But that's like the quickest way to get a sister. But yeah, if anything, you're better just getting the prime, which like I said, like in Warframe case, no matter what, getting the prime version of the set Warframe that's currently in the game is always gonna be the best option than trying to fucking get like the base primes, the base Warframes. In this case, like Protea, where she doesn't have a pity shot, which I should just remember about this. Thank Christ that they thought about having a pity shot since like, oh shit, I want to say maybe like since Dante update. Well, not more like when Dante came out. I can't remember. I can't remember when the first pity shop came a thing, but ever since they had the whole pity shop to the game, it just made the grind like less fucking miserable. Because like when you're doing grinds like Proteas where like they have no pity shop, it's like banging your head against the fucking wall. Like, because you think it's just like, why am I spending like 4 hours trying to grind one part when I could be doing literally anything else? But ever since they had the pity shop, like with that, you're at least making some progress, which thank Christ, because if it wasn't, I don't think anyone would keep playing Warframe at that point. But yeah, that's my yapping session. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. That's my reaction. It's gonna say I'm trying not to, bestie, but I'm trying my best. There we go.
Are you fucking? Why are you in the lava? I was coming to revive my black friend.
Oh no. Okay. Now I thought keep inventory was on, which was before, and now it isn't. Now I just lost everything. Yeah, okay. Well, okay. Alright. Alright, well. Alright, well, I'm gonna end it here.
Thanks for watching.